Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pick Up Books. I'm Komal and today's video is gonna be a tad bit lengthy. So sit tight, grab a tub of popcorn and be a part of this amazing, insightful conversation. Before we dive into the video, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಯುಗಾದಿ ಹಬ್ಬದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. Happy Ugadi, Happy Gudi Padwa, Ramadan Mubarak, and I wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year. In today's video, I'll be talking about the anthology Shades of a Woman, published by Inkfeathers publication, edited and compiled by the very lovely Samhitha Reddy, and co-authored by the beautiful fellow co-authors. Shades of a Woman anthology showcases heartwarming and inspiring stories of women and how they strive to be better each day, not just for themselves but for their families. It is a collection of heartfelt prose and poetry that will take you on a roller coaster ride of emotions. I'm grateful to be a part of this anthology. Thank you, Inkfeathers, and thank you, Samhita, for giving me an opportunity to publish my writings. The book is out on Amazon, so I'll put the link in the description box. And all the social links of editor and the co-authors in the video will be left in the description box. So please check them out and give them a huge shout out. We have Jonaki in conversation. Jonaki wears multiple hats as a professional counselor, breath mindfulness coach, a proud mom, and a partner to a loving soul. She is a busy consultant at clinics and educational institutions, along with a thriving private practice. Her integrated approach and advanced skills are much sought after in workshops to capacitate various professionals. I welcome you, Janaki, and I congratulate you on your work.
Thank you so much, Mama. Thank you. Very nice of you.
Can we start with the questions now?
Of course.
So,
whatever you want.
Can you tell us about your story, experience before expertise, and odyssey of resilience?
So there you have it. You know, the last word is the story. But yes, you've asked me. My story is about a skill that I believe everyone, not only women, but children, men, everyone, all human beings can actually hone and gain so much from. It's a life skill and of resilience. So my story is about that because it began at a time that, I come from a dysfunctional family where any child would go through a lot of turmoil and grow up with a lot of insecurities. But I believe that we are born with that inner strength. Being women puts us in a power of a little bit of advantage there. I believe that we are born with a strength that we can hone resilience to a fine art, and that becomes unstoppable.
That's really nice of you, and I love how you have written the story. It's so beautiful.
Kind, thank you. I didn't. It has come out better than even I imagined it. I think, but I believe that. More than inspiration, about being a part of this, it was an invitation. It was invitation. Samhitha, our editor, Samhitha Reddy found me and pursued me and kept inviting me and kept sending me, so that then I got interested in this project because I never knew what was anthology before this. Honestly, I mean, I've been a part of, I've been reading and writing and speaking for a long period of time, but except for chicken soup for the soul, kind of a book, I wasn't familiar with this genre of writing. But I got interested in it. This was when I read into it, I realized we can all be a part of something bigger than ourselves, right? So I have written, you have written, you are a co-author yourself. So isn't it exciting? I mean, I thought it was really nice.
It's now a huge part of our life now.
Yes. So it was nice to get a chance to be included and invited to write for, a chapter from our lives. So nice.
So what was your inspiration behind writing the story?
So I thought that since this is my first attempt at writing about myself, since I'm a mindful meditation coach, I've written a lot about other things, but I have not written about myself before this, you know. So I thought that, you know what, I speak about authenticity as a, as a value of life. Many, many times. So I thought, okay, this is going to be my test. I'm going to write as authentically as possible about my life. And the truth is, when I look at it, yes, it was a little difficult in part, especially when I was growing up. I felt that I was locked in this whole whole bubble of being insecure and uh, neglected and victimized in a lot of way. But when I look at it now, I thought that life was just getting me ready to be a psychologist that I am now. So whenever people come and talk about it, I am ready, because you know what? I actually am a very, very cheerful person. I'm very happy for whatever happened. I have come out so much stronger. So if whatever I could do at 5 or 10 or 14 or 20 or 30, and any age people come with their families and they talk to me, I am ready with the life skill, Okay, yes, I have had to hone it a little bit with technical, knowledge. But life was just preparing me to be where exactly I am. So that was my inspiration, that I'm going to write about how happy I can be after, overcoming any difficulties.
Yeah. It's very inspirational, and you have little life lessons in between the story. And we get to
Yeah.
learn so much from your experience, like it's our own. So that's really helpful for readers also.
I talk so much to young adults like a lot of engineering students, medical students, and people who are in different colleges, and premarital and postmarital, couples, um, and I believe that I can pass on my confidence to them. That what, this is going to pass, and you are going to come over this. You just have to follow a certain things, learn, upskill, basically upskill.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, this was a very interesting journey.
And in one of your life lessons in the story, you said that
Yeah.
surviving the odds made you stronger. So, what empowered and made you stronger as a woman?
So yeah, I'm this one. I'm going to just open it and see which
Yeah, yeah,
incident that
sure.
you're talking about. So yeah. So this time. This was a story of my transformation, right? Um, I was transitioning from being a adolescent to a young adult. That was the time. That was the period that I was thinking when I wrote about it, and I realized that even though I went through um, you know, um, being projected upon by two squabbling parents, and then grew up in hostel and went through a series of difficult relationships. Not bad. I was they were interesting when it was happening, but a relationship. I actually realize how important it is to choose the right family for yourself. We have a choice. Yes, we have been
Yeah,
given biological family, but we have a choice to choose our friends and make
exactly. Yeah.
whichever kind of families we want. So I actually made lovely friends. They are still our, I mean, we can walk in and out of our homes even to now, 15 years in hostel. And believe me, I realized that, hey, I do not need to be miserable. I can just go on. I can go on making friends. And if some of them, our energies do not align, it's okay. We can separate our ways and find and make a bigger spiritual family. And now that I have moved on to counseling and being a life coach and psychologist and being a meditation coach, I realized that this is an ever expanding thing. At every point of time, we have a choice to choose between misery and happiness.
Yeah.
And if we look at that scale of vibration, happiness is high. So misery comes easy. So if you're a little sad, it's very easy to be depressed and sad and
Yeah.
lonely and tired. And if that time you find the right energy around you, align yourself with people who are happy, who add value to you, your climb towards resilience and empowerment is unstoppable.
It was so
Did I
lovely
answer your
talking to you,
question?
and you have such beautiful insights, and it all comes from experience, and it's so beautiful.
I have 5 decades of experience. And I am very happy. I would not exchange my wisdom for anything. I've allowed my past to become wisdom for me that I share with um, people at their asking, anyone. And I'm in a very nice place. Thank you for asking me. Thank you.
Thank you. It was so lovely talking to you. And in our last segment, we'll take a book selfie showcasing
Yes,
our Shades of a Woman. Okay.
yes.
I think some lighting issues. Yes. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you, and congratulations
My
on your work
pleasure.
again.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Komal. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so
So
much for
nice to
having
see you
me.
in person. So nice to see you in person.
Thank you.
So I'm going to introduce you right away. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
By profession, Komal RD is a computer science graduate, and by passion, she's an ardent reader and writer in making. She believes hobby defines a person and hence channelizes them in her Instagram blog, uh, Pick Up Books, where she helps people find their right book match through her book reviews. Welcome, Komal.
Thank you
To
so much. It was a lovely introduction.
I have to admit that I have read both the uh, poems that have been included in this book, and they are amazing. And it's a contrast to the smiley face that you have, isn't it?
Yes.
What do you think about anthologies, Komal?
So I think anthologies are the great start for someone who's writing and someone who's starting to read also. And I read few stories and poems, and they are so diverse. And it's not just because it is coming from multiple authors. You see, a single writer has written and has touched upon many themes, and that's why this Shades of a Woman. So it justifies this title. And when you read and glance through all these stories, you feel that positivity, and you feel like the voices of all the women is being heard, and you can see the smiles of all the women, and uh, this book is representing every woman.
Oh, such a nice thing to say, Komal. Huh? What inspired you to write two of those thought-provoking poems? Tell me, because you talked about women's smiles, but you have written more about more deeper issues, isn't it?
Yeah. So I authored two poems, that is Because I'm a Woman and Tell Me Ma, I'm a Girl and Not Intersex. So because I'm a woman, I wrote this last year on Women's Day. And as a reader, I always, it's very easy for me to get into character. It's on an emotional level that I feel like the character, and I can think what the character is thinking, and I can go through the character. So when I try to write, and that comes in handy, that I envision myself as the character, and I give my words to their voices and write from their perspectives. And in Because I'm a Woman, several girls and women, they are faced with discrimination on a daily basis, and it starts right from family. And some of us are fortunately grateful that we don't go through it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And I wanted to represent those women and give voices and write from their perspectives.
So I think that it was amazingly insightful for someone as young as you. But and I think it's your gift. I mean, if you can empathize so much and you get into the character and you have actually written in first person,
Yeah.
tell me, ma, and then you've written about yourself. Oh, because I'm a woman. So it is this is heartfelt work. I mean, you actually get into the character. How do you do it?
Actually, it makes me very sensitive because I empathize on a very deeper note, and but it also helps me to write better. And I feel that when I get into the character, I write better. And I think writing is more from representing the part, the character, what you're doing, and not yourself. So that is what I do. And in Tell Me Ma, I'm a Girl and Not Intersex, actually, that is a book review of LGBTQ book, None of the Above. And I actually try to encapsulate the whole story into a poem. And when we celebrate women, it's not just women who are assigned as a female upon birth, but we should celebrate every woman who identifies themselves as women, who assigns themselves. And we as society, we have to break that stereotype. And somewhere we think that these assignments are same, but they are very different. And we have to let people choose their own genders, and it should be a new normal. So that's what I wrote in that poem.
I can't agree with you, because I counsel different young adults who actually are not very sure they are whether they are bi or whether they are any part of LGBTQ spectrum, but just to give them the permission to be themselves. That
Yeah.
itself is a big one. So I can't agree with you more that we have to give the same voice to anybody who identifies with being a woman.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sex they are, they can be any sex.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to see that you're thinking about it. So what kind of work do you plan to do in future now, Komal?
Actually, planning has never worked for me. So writing for me is a place where I can vent out my feelings, and it doesn't come pressurized. So like if you ask me right now to write on a topic, I'll go blank. And so for few years, probably I'll do the things I'm doing right now, that is blog review, like book reviews and blog. And I surely have in mind that I want to see my name as the author of best-selling book, and I think that will happen someday. I'll make it happen, but I before that I need to gain experience, and it's not just writing experience but life experience. I have to go through a lot, and I have to see ups and downs. I have to feel a lot of things to write from heart, and to reach audience better. And uh, maybe it will happen soon, but yes, I don't have any idea as of now, but yes, one day it will
No,
happen.
no, I think you have so many ideas. I disagree. I think you have a lot of ideas, and I can point them out and count. You want to be a best-selling author, you want to continue doing book reviews, you want to keep encouraging your blogs, you want to keep getting into character and seeing how much you can write. See, in 2 seconds, I could get 4. If you give me 5 minutes, I will get 20. So it's amazing to see that you are so driven by your own flame inside. Awesome talking to you, Komal. I have no doubt that you will be a best-selling author someday, and I am tempted that if I ever write a book, I'm going to get you to review it, right, and blog about it as well. How nice
Sure.
is this?
It's so nice of
Congratulations.
you.
No, I think you are extremely bright, and you've started really early. So that's your advantage. You can keep gathering life skills and keep documenting them in your blogs or in your reviews. And later, when you're writing a book, it can only come in handy, right?
Yes.
So I'm very inspired. In fact, you are inspiring me.
No, you inspire
I'm
me a lot, actually.
because I thought of writing only after after I became a psychologist. But look at you, how soon you have started! Amazing. Fingers crossed, and all the best.
Thank you
So we
so
have to
much.
take a book selfie now, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes. It's done.
Thank you so much, Komal. All the best.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you. we have Akshara in conversation today. She is a budding dentist and a passionate writer. Being an obsessive bookworm, you can find her around books more than people, if not doing mandala art and penning her thoughts. I welcome you, Akshara, and I congratulate you on your story.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be on this board, actually. I'm really happy about that. Very grateful.
So,
So,
I want to ask you, what is your story, Veils of a Woman, about?
okay. So, my story is about like within three people between parents and her daughter. So, it's like the mom and daughter against the father. It's a really short story because I wanted to prove my message through a really short story. So you can say I have taken my theme. I think I took it around with sort of domestic violence and the rights which are denied to a young girl. Basic rights of just education. I took a really simple plot on this, but I feel that is one of the most important stuff. Like that's really important. So yeah, my sort of story goes on that, like how her dad doesn't allow her to simple things, like she just wants to study, but the fact that she just went to ask, and after that what happens to her is really like bad. The scars she gets from those times what when she goes to ask him about this, so that's really bad, and how it makes a huge impact on her, and how her mother tells that you got to be silent for some time, you really have to go on for long, I cannot do this. So I have just made it into a really short story, and in the end of the story I have just questioned, like, whom are we supposed to blame this on? Like, do we blame it on ourselves, or do we blame the other people, or the upbringing, or the society, or whom are we supposed to blame this on? Like, this sort of being, what is happening with us? Like, whom do we even blame on such things? So yeah, that is my story about.
You have touched upon a very sensitive topic, and it's one of the important
Yeah.
topic, but it goes neglected in day-to-day life, and you have bought the highlight on that notice, so it's really nice, and I was getting goosebumps reading your story. My next
Yeah.
question is, why did you choose this project and what this project means to you?
Okay, so I it was quite unexpected when I saw this, but this is something I have been, trying to, like, I wanted to talk on this, but I knew that I'm not a person who is really great at talking or letting out, but I know that my words have that power. So I knew that if I have to talk on something, I have to speak up on a topic which is something, it really itches me every time I see anything on this. It really just like makes me like, how, why is this happening so much? There is some way I want to stand up to it, I want to talk about it. And for me, writing is like, it is like one of my power tool. Okay, so I was like, let's just do it through this, and I really got attracted to this. Looking at the theme of it, like, I was like, this is the perfect theme, the stand where I can let it out without being judged. And so yeah, that's how I came to it, and that's why I wanted to write and let the world know that this is what is happening, and this is how I want to say it about.
Sometimes words are quite powerful to, provoke those
Yeah,
feelings, and it's a place to
I
vent your
would
feelings
say
out.
one of the most powerful, actually. There are really times where you're talking to someone, maybe you won't be able to convey it, but there are people like whom they write, like when they write, it just comes out, it just flows, and there's no stopping to it. And maybe that's how it happens.
So, as an avid reader, which book inspired you to start writing, and how did you start writing? What is your journey?
My writing journey starts back when I was 8 years old, actually. Like I just used to write out and pen down my feelings and my thoughts, because as a kid I've never been someone who's really that expressive. I wasn't that expressive at all. And for me, writing was like no judgment zone, basically. So I don't know, more than talking, of course talking to people helps, but writing is a completely different arena. Like, there's no judgment zone, there's just you, your pen and your paper, and let it just come out through you. So that is how I had started writing. And books I started reading probably around when I was 12 years old, like just from the libraries and all. What inspired me towards this is one of my favorite author is Khalid Hossein. I really, really love his book. I love his
He's
book, A
one of my
Thousand
favorite
Splendid Suns. I don't
authors
know how
too.
much. Yeah. Oh wow, great. One of like all his three books I've read it. My most favorite one was A Thousand Splendid Suns. Remains my favorite till date. I don't know how many times I would have read that book. So, and then it wasn't just a book which inspired me. I would say the activities, whatever keeps happening, day to day lives and all. For years, you keep seeing so many things around in your environment. Any small incident, like I'm just passing on the road, I could see some incident happening that inspired, like that would make me think. So there were so many things which got linked to make me do writing. And then I was like, I wanted to express myself, and I knew that writing was the only platform I would be comfortable, and that's where it automatically came out for me. So yeah, that's how it started for me all the way, and it's been continuing since then. Yeah, so that's how I had started.
It's so good to see you express through your writing, and your
Thank
words
you.
just flow amazingly, and it's so beautiful to read your works.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
So now it's the time for book selfie. Do you
Oh,
have your
sure.
Shades of a Woman book?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it's done. Yes. Thank you so much,
Oh,
and it was
thank you
pleasure
so
meeting
much.
you.
It was glad. Same to you. Really.
So we have Rochelle in conversation. She is a 19-year-old first-year university student. She believes in the power of love. She loves rain, coffee, and to play with words and metaphors. Writing to her is an intimate thing. She makes sure she gets her ideas to paper before she enlightens anybody. She is aspiring to communicate with people via stories. She resorted to fictional writing. I welcome you, Rochelle, and I congratulate you on your story.
Congratulations to you as well. Hi.
So when I was reading your story, I did not know that you are a student. And when I saw that you're a 19-year-old, I was like, wow, this writing is so mature and it's so professional. I think your story was perfect, and uh, words just flowed out in a very gracious manner, and you had created a beautiful world through your words.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so glad you liked it. Actually, this is my first writing experience, as in, like, I have written so many stuff and poems and stories, but I have never really thought of publishing them. And this is my first time doing it. So it's a really new experience. And I'm really glad you liked it. Thank you so much.
Can you tell the audience what was your inspiration behind writing this story, A Feminine Career?
Yeah, so my topic, feminine career, is actually, I was thinking a lot about the word career. I'm 20 years old and I'm doing my higher studies right now. So, like, for me, actually, at our household now, we discuss a lot about careers. And I have seen a lot of my friends and peers, they come to me and they say that they're not allowed to do a certain type of career because it's too feminine. Sorry, it's too masculine. I'm sorry. Yeah. And that just got me all, it just sparked my interest. And I had already thought about it before as well, because like in our culture and tradition, like in Sri Lanka, we do have these sort of things like conflicts among people, as to what jobs women should do. And so I have been thinking about that. And career is something that will define us. So I think that even women should have an independent definition of themselves, something that is based on what they want in life and what they choose to follow, and not depending on somebody else. Oh, it should be an independent definition.
Yeah.
So I just, my story is completely fiction, but parts of it revolved around my life as well. And if you read it, you'll know that there are certain parts of it like which totally tallies with my character. And yeah, I really hope that the readers are going to enjoy it.
I like how you're strong, opinionated towards certain things, and you are certain about a few things, and you stand for that. And it's really great to see younger generation like us doing that.
Yeah, I think that if we just, if we can stand up for what we believe, we enforce others to do that as well. And that makes it easier for us to follow our calling as well.
Yeah. So my next question was about the calling. Like, as Mindy from your story, she has a calling to be an FBI agent. So, what is your calling and ambition?
Yeah. So I recently found my calling. Actually, I was moving from one ambition to another as a little kid. And recently I found my calling. My calling is to help people. And since I'm really good at science, I'm doing my biomedical science, bachelor's in biomedical science. So my next step would be to become a doctor and help people that way via the medical field. And I also like to involve in NGOs and like non-governmental organizations to help people. Like there are so many people in the world who have needs but are unable to navigate and reach out the right people.
Yeah.
So I want to be a intimate, a communicator for them as well. So yeah, and also I am passionate about teaching, so I might as well take up a lecturer career in the future. That totally depends.
It's so generous of you, and all the best for your journey. My last question would be, in your opinion, how should women handle the voices of the society that tells them that you're not worth it or you cannot do it?
That is a very common thing that like we as women, we at least hear it once in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And it is a very common phrase. So I think when people and external forces like that try to stop us, we have to take a moment, we have to pause, and we have to think what our priorities are, and you have to set these things right. And I think that if it matters to you, you have to pursue it. And that should be, I think that is the main thing here. Because if it matters to you, you know that you want it, so you have to go ahead and pursue it. And you have to be satisfied of your life someday. So if you're not going to be satisfied, you're not going to be happy. And it is up to you to choose it and do it for yourself, because you owe it for yourself. You owe it yourself to be the best version. So you have to go ahead and be you. And always remember that women are so strong and determined, and they can do as anything what men do. So that is something that we have to reinforce in our even in our younger generation, like ones who are junior to us, because sometimes we are torn between what the society says and what we want.
Yeah.
But we have to listen to ourselves first.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Rocheal, and I wish you all the best for your future.
And I wish you the same. Thank you, Komal. It was really nice meeting you.
Thank you. So we have Arthi here in conversation. Arthi is an IT professional and has traveled to many places outside India in her career of 20 years. She is an avid reader and has a keen interest in creating poetry with specific themes. She believes in women's empowerment, but with the right intent. I welcome you, Arthi, and I congratulate you on your work.
Thank you so much, Komal. It is such a pleasure meeting you online, although I would have loved to meet you in person. And thank you to you, to Samhitha, to Inkfeathers for giving us this wonderful opportunity. And I'm so proud to be sharing the space with you. You're one of the co-authors of Shades of Women. So congratulations to you too.
Thank you. So, what is your story, Rukmini's regret, about?
So when Samhita approached me saying this is all about women's empowerment, anything, it could be some inspiration you pick from your life, from yourself, or even from others around you. The the first thing that struck me is um, the simplicity in which our parents, our grandparents, and many other women of the Esther years actually have lived. Now, I wouldn't say we do not have our problems, we do, but the way they dealt with those problems, the kind of attitude they had to solve each one of them, kind of really struck me. And I've personally seen my grandmother. Her name is Rukmini, and by tradition, my name also has the maiden name is actually Rukmini. So I have a deep connection with her, and was very fond of her. uh, what inspired me was how she took her life in a beautiful way. It was an amazing journey, regardless of what came through. And I think she just smiled each day and took each day as a new day. That inspired me a lot, and my story is loosely based on her lifestyle, on how she approached every problem, and what one or two things we could learn from that story.
Thank you so much for sharing us with your story. And why did you choose this
And
project?
I want to add, and I want to add one point, Komal. I think we as youngsters, I mean, I'm not as young as you. You're younger than me, but then we are still the a little before millennials and after millennials. I think we need to learn one thing is to listen, and that's the other intent I wanted to bring out of the story, saying, please make some time, sit with your dear ones, listen to them. They have so much to share. You don't have to go out to learn anything. You can learn so much at home. That was another intent I had for the story. Sorry.
So, my next question was that why did you choose this project and what it means to you?
Yeah. So when Samhita approached me initially, I was thinking I would put some fictional story out there, or I would take inspiration from someone else. But what struck me is just, I mean, we didn't even have title back then. She said, "Oh, you can bring out different shades of what a woman is all about," and the word shades really struck me, and it meant I can never be of one shade. I can never be with one emotion. And me being a woman, I wanted to bring out the best of, the emotions that I have and not be apologetic of who I am. So that kind of inspired me for both liberation as well as Shades of Women, giving me the opportunity to explore my inner feeling as well as, tell the world this is who I am, accept me as I am. And that inspired me personally to write something for this project.
You have simply stated a huge thing in a very simple manner and very graciously described about what this project means to you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
So, as you are an avid reader, you said that, and so I wanted to ask which book inspired you to start writing, and what is your journey, writing
Uh,
journey?
so generally, I read a lot of variety of genres with respect to books. The perspective, this might come out differently, but the perspective of mythological stories being different. Like, if you want to see the whole story of Mahabharata from a Draupadi's viewpoint, or if you want to see it from Karna's wife's viewpoint, I think I like to dig those kind of stories and read them. The other very, very fond author for me is Sudha Murthy ji. She is so amazing. And I have this kind of, I feel that she's sitting next to me and reading the book to me because I also spent 2 years in Dharwad, and I get those North Karnataka vibes whenever I read her books. And one book that has particularly inspired me a lot of how you should live your life is Gently Falls the Bakula. I don't know if you've got a chance to read that. It's beautiful.
Hi,
It's
Sudha.
about a Yes, by Sudhamurthy. It's a woman's journey of being a daughter, being a wife, being a mother, and finally being herself. Right. So it's so beautifully written, and if you've read Sudhamurthy's books, they are mostly simple English. There's
Yeah,
not much of vocab into it, and I feel I can relate to such a language because we have emotions in our respective native languages, and we write in English, right? So it kind of if you use simple terms to convey what you want to, I think it kind of relates very easily. So Sudhamurthy has been by far my biggest inspiration to write books. And I have been, to be honest, I've been writing poems and short stories for a long time now, right from my 10th grade. But I've never gone into a publishing foray, or I've never tried to put it somewhere. It's always with friends and family, sharing my instant, I even call them the noodle poems because I write it and I just send it to people. I've been doing that, but this is my first ever attempt to get it published.
I totally agree that Sudha Moti is such an inspiration for every writer, and I like how she is so humble, and you can see how she is grounded through her writing, and it's like a mother or a grandmother narrating stories to us,
Oh,
and
yes.
you learn a lot from her life experience. So
Indeed, indeed, completely. Just one instance about her. I know that she's. I don't think she's conveyed it anywhere, but somewhere I read that the the royalty she gets from her books is enough for Mr. Narayan Murthy and entire family to actually live comfortably. Imagine an Infosys founder's wife
yeah.
actually even making such a statement, right? But she's extremely humble, and I'm really proud of having such people in our country, and also having the opportunity. I mean, God gave me this thought process to actually read and explore these kind of stories. I'm very, 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 very happy about it.
It was a pleasure meeting you, Arti, and I love how you're so humble in your talks and very humble in your thought process as well.
Thank you. And Komal, I wouldn't, it would not be right on my part if I don't thank you enough. I think this is such a beautiful effort by all the people who have written this book, have taken the initiative to do so many things. And I know personally you have been working through to interview every co-author and create the momentum for this beautiful journey. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm so, so glad to have met you, at least e-meeting right now. And I'm sure someday our paths will cross and we'll meet in person.
Sure, sure. Someday we'll definitely meet and we can talk a lot
Oh,
on
yes.
books, on I don't know, because there are so many topics I want to talk with you. And
Definitely, anytime. And don't hesitate. Let's do a chai pe charcha anytime. You can call me. I might not be always useful, but whenever I can, I will try and, be more productive in what I speak.
thank you for taking time, and thank you for agreeing to this on such a short notice. So let's take a book selfie now.
Oh, yes. I love my book. Can you see it?
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely. Such a beautiful cover, I must say. I was so
Yeah.
impressed with the lips. Forget anything else. And and to all people out there, I really wish you can get a copy of this and read this book. There's so many wonderful poems and stories. I'm sure each one will touch your heart in a very different way.
Thank you for this.
Thank you, dear.
So we have Apoorvi in conversation. She is a Gujarati Bangalorean who is a learning professional for the last 16 years. She writes as a personal outlet and about experiences close to her heart. She loves to travel, read, and craft things. She believes that hard work and hustle always pays off. I welcome you, Apoorvi, and I congratulate you on your work.
Thank you so much, Komal, and it's a pleasure to be here.
So, before we dive into the questions, can you tell us about what your story is?
So, what I wrote about is a story about me, or it could be a story about so many other women who are single in the society today, and how the world perceives you as being a single woman, right? It could be you could be single by choice or not by your choice, but either ways, you get, you know, you are getting you people opinionate about you because you're single. People decide who and what your character is based on your status, right? Because in a world where we live, marriage is everything, and that's what makes you complete. So that's the story that I have and how I felt through my journey. So that's what I've written about.
You have written a powerful story that everyone has to read, and thank you for writing that.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it resonates with people because it's a story, I think, of a lot of us today. And I'm just hoping it resonates and people can connect with it.
So, in the end, you said, F the world, I am who I am. World, deal with it. I'm not going to change. It is such a powerful statement. And what were your emotions when you went through and before finally accepting yourself? And any advice for girls and women who are going through the same phase of being perfect?
Okay, so the emotions personally that I went through, there were a gamut of emotions. You start by hating yourself because you feel that since I'm not getting into a relationship, there's something that's missing from me. So what is it missing from me? You live in a confused state, figuring out what you're missing. You may not be missing anything, right? And you can't gain everything. But that's the state that you live in, the confused state. There is hatred for who you are. There is also the point where you don't know what else to do. Like, you keep thinking, I've done everything, and still things are not working out, right? You live with a low confidence about yourself because every rejection, every person that you meet, everything that doesn't work out for you somewhere hits your confidence levels, and you live with a very low self-esteem and a low confidence level, right? All of these were emotions that I personally went through. And before I realized that this was only harming me, right? And because I was in that state all this while, there were people who were actually pinpointing that, more. And that would irritate me as well because I was in that state actually. And that's what people were pointing out. So it irritates you without realizing that you have to get out of that state. So when you realize it and you accept who you are, and you accept not just who you are, but also the situation that you are in, I think it brings about a more peace at mind. It brings about more acceptance of who you are, and you're very comfortable with yourself at that time, at that point in time. So that's what I went through, a complete state of so many emotions over so many years, I would say. But yes, that's a whole thing. Coming to your second question on what advice would I give women who are looking to be perfect, there is nothing that is perfect, firstly, right? None of us are meant to be the total perfect. But what I like women to know is that find an opinion about yourself as well as try to know yourself. I don't know how, if you've watched the movie Runaway Bride. Have you watched that?
Oh, no.
Okay, so in a Runaway Bride, it's about a story where Julia Roberts also has a fear of settling down. Now, why does she have a fear of settling down? Because every man that she meets, she tries to be like that man wants her to be. It's not her, right? And a very simple question from Richard Gere, which is sets her off to thinking when Richard Gere just asks her, "How do you like to have your eggs in the morning?" Yeah, it's a very simple question. All the while, Julia Roberts would like her eggs at breakfast the way the man in her life was, because she wanted acceptance, right? She wanted to be in that relationship and everything, but it was not her choice of that way of having her eggs at the breakfast. When she really goes through the breakup, when she really takes time to understand herself, does she realize that one point which Richard Gere asked her, and that changes it because you get to know yourself. So that's what I like other women to understand, that you have to have an opinion about yourself, which is good. You also need to be very comfortable with yourself and understand who you are for the rest of them to understand who you are. That would be one of the things. I think another thing would be to just be grateful for the good experiences and the bad experiences. Like for me, if I had not met the n number of bad men in my life, as I would call it, they're not bad, but they just didn't gel along with me, right? If I didn't understand that, I wouldn't understand the characteristics of who I want to be with. So it's just that, or who I am as well. Because if I don't know what, I know more about myself now, having been with those many, those men and those people over there, that I know that this is my personality, that's their personality, maybe these two don't gel along. So it's learning more about yourself. It's also appreciating that the bad will always bring out something good in you. You just need to be grateful for all the experiences that are there.
I think this self-introspection is so important to seek
Exactly.
validation
Yes.
and to
Yes.
accept yourself and to be
Yes.
comfortable in your own skin, and that automatically shows outside.
Exactly. When you're comfortable in your own skin, I think it also resonates with people. And that's where people will try, it will turn things around you. You will notice it turning things around you. Now, when you're not comfortable in your skin, that's what people pick, actually. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And that's something that you shouldn't let the people do. So you ought to be knowing yourself and comfortable with yourself. And never let other people's opinion tell you who you are. Just be who you are.
That's such a wonderful insight. And you said that you love to read books that in your bio.
Correct.
So who
Yes.
are some of the strong authors or protagonists, women authors or protagonists you look up to?
So I do read, but I'm not like too much into just women authors and all of them. But I've read Jhumpa Lahiri, I've read Sudha Murthy, I've read Cheryl Strayed. These authors have definitely left a mark. Protagonist in my life, I would say, is my mother, because quite honestly, she comes from an era where women were not given a chance to do anything, right? Yeah. And she has brought up a daughter who she's made independent, right? who she is given her a chance to do what she wants to do, even though she was not given that chance. And I have to say, more, it is a combined effort, of course, of both my parents, my mother and my father. But I would say if my mother had opposed that, right, it would be very difficult for me to, step out and do that, where my mother did not. So I would say she has such a forward thinking attitude in that sense, that though she didn't get it, she let me be. And she's a very strong person. So think I get my strong sense of character from her, because she's extremely strong in tough situations. So that would be my protagonist in my life.
That's really nice to hear. And the last question is that what does this book, Shades of a Woman, mean to you?
Shades of a Woman is been a good opportunity for me, I would say, to let out my story so that the world can see it and read it. It's also a combination of stories that are real, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that it should connect with people. One should go and read it, because these are real stories. These are what you go through in your everyday life. And it's something that's going to be life changing, because if you know there are many other women who are in the same boat as you are not going to feel alone over here, right?
Yeah.
So I would say Shades of a Woman is really something that you really need to go and buy and read it, because it's something that is close, personal to a number of us who have co-authored on this along with Samhitha. And it's our journey, it's your journey, so go read it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you. And now
Thank you,
we'll take
Komal. It was a pleasure meeting you too.
a book selfie.
Here you go. People go do read it.
Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Komal, for the opportunity, and thank you for interviewing me.
it was lovely, and I got to hear a lot of things that probably I was dealing with at some point in my life. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Komal. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like, comment on what was your favorite part of the video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my channel Pick Up Books. I'll be back on Thursday with a similar video where I'll be conversing with the co-authors of Liberation, that is the part 2 of Shades of a Woman anthology. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.